By 7:12 a.m., the chapel had learned that surviving sunrise did not make people reasonable. It made them hungry.
1 bottle each.
Helena Ward said it from beside the supply table. The man in the leather jacket did not move his hand. He had 3 bottles of water tucked under one arm, 2 protein bars in his jacket pocket, and the expression of someone who had already decided rules were a luxury for people with locked doors.
My wife needs them.
Helena stood across from him with her crossbow lowered but visible. The weapon was not glowing now. In daylight, it looked almost ordinary. Wood, steel, string, almost.
Your wife gets ones. You get ones. The extra goes back.
You going to shoot me over water?
No.
The man smiled. Helena's eyes did not change.
I am going to ask once. Then I am going to let everyone behind you decide how much they like watching you steal from their children.
The smile died. Behind the man, 27 survivors stared at his back. The extra bottles went back on the table. Elias watched from a folding chair beside the chapel wall and decided Helena was better at command than comfort. That was probably why people listened to her. Comfort was negotiable. Command either worked or it did not. Kay Hart sat on the floor in front of him, sorting medical supplies into piles with fast, angry competence.
Bandages, antiseptic, painkillers, probably expired painkillers, mystery pills I refuse to identify without a label, and 3 packets of orange gelatin.
Medical gelatin.
Emotionally medical.
Good, I was worried.
She tossed a roll of gauze at him. He caught it. Immediately. Both of them froze. Elias looked at the gauze in his hand. Kay looked at the gauze in his hand.
That was normal.
It was.
Try throwing it back.
Elias tossed the roll toward her. Nothing left his hand. The gauze remained there, held between his fingers like the world had politely declined. 1,
Direct action from you.
2,
Apparently catching is fines.
3,
Throwing is not.
4,
That is aggressively inconvenient.
5,
I have noticed.
6,
Does store action change it?
7,
I have not tested.
8,
Maybe test away from my face.
9,
Wise.
10. The gauze launched from Elias' hand and bounced off Kay's knee. She picked it up.
Terrifying, the apocalypse trembles.
Give me time.
That is literally the problem.
Elias smiled despite the ache in his shoulder. The wound had been cleaned and wrapped. The nurse who treated him had introduced herself as Dorothy Bell, then told him he was pale, reckless, and not as funny as he thought. Since she had also found antibiotics in a locked medication cart, Elias considered her opinion authoritative. He had slept for 43 minutes on the chapel floor. Field Raid informed him that this was insufficient rest. Field Raid could mind its business. He opened his status again.
Participant Elias Venn. Level 3. Class Tactician. Title Late Responder. Skill Delay. Secondary function Store Action. Stored action capacity 1. Attributes unallocated 3.
Below the status panel, his attributes weighted.
Body 6. Mind 9. Sense 8. Will 7. Coordination 6. Presence 5.
The numbers meant very little by themselves. He felt exactly as durable as a man who had been punched by a monster, grazed by a bullet, emotionally attacked by his dead mother's voice, and slapped twice by a nursing student. But numbers mattered now. That was one of the nastier facts of the morning. People had begun sorting themselves by numbers. The strong near the doors. The useful near the supply tables. The wounded along the left wall. The frightened wherever they were told to sit. Systems did not create hierarchy. They gave hierarchy a user interface.
Where are you putting yours?
Elias looked up.
Attributes.
Unless you have 3 secret water bottles.
Mind, sense, will.
No bodies.
If something hits me properly, 1 point will not save me.
That is bleak and may be true.
You.
Kay made a face and opened her own panel. Elias could not see it, but he saw the blue-white reflection in her eyes.
Medic.
You picked already.
Someone had to be useful while you were taking your heroic floor nap.
It was medically advised.
By unconsciousness.
Strict doctor.
She ignored that.
Medic gave me field treatment and triage sense. I put points into mind, will, and body because apparently I need to drag grown men away from bad decisions.
A noble callings.
A heavy ones.
Before Elias could answer, the chapel doors opened. Every conversation died. Helena raised one hand, and 3 armed survivors shifted into position behind the barricade. Daylight poured through the corridor beyond the doors, clean and almost insulting. Nothing monstrous waited in it. 3 people did. The first was a hospital porter Elias recognized by uniform if not by name, pushing an empty wheelchair with both hands raised. The second was an elderly woman wrapped in a blue blanket, face drawn with pain. The third was a nurse in green scrubs with blood on her sleeves and fire around her hands. Actual fire. Orange gold flames curled over her fingers, climbing to her wrists without burning fabric or skin. The air shimmered around them. The nurse looked exhausted, furious, and entirely uninterested in being impressive. Blue-white text hovered above her head.
Participant Mara Vale. Class Ember Medic. Skill Burning Grace.
Kay stood.
Margaret.
The nurse's eyes found her.
K. Hart, you are supposed to be on night rotation in observation. Good morning to you too. It is not.
Mara pushed past the porter and guided the elderly woman toward the left side of the chapel. Helena stepped into her path.
Entry conditions.
Mara did not slow.
No active hostile intent, I read the sign. Hands.
Mara lifted them. The flames brightened. Several people backed away.
This is not hostile. This is the only reason Mrs. Alvarez made it from Oncology.
The elderly woman smiled weakly.
She set a man on fire.
Mara sighed.
A dead man's. He was walking. That was the problem.
Helena studied the fire. Elias used filled red.
Mara Vale, Medical Authority. High fatigue, controlled anger, active healing effect, burn risk. Mrs. Alvarez, critical condition, stabilized by external skill, pain suppressed. Porter shock compliant, useful transport knowledge. Burning Grace, dual aspect restoration and fire hazard.
The last line appeared without being asked. Elias blinked. The system had opinions about skills now too. Mara noticed him noticing.
Do you have a problems?
Usually.
Kay pointed at him.
Elias Venn, dispatcher, tactician, bleeding nuisance.
Formerly bleedings.
Temporarily bleedings.
Mara looked him up and down with clinical disapproval.
Sit before you fall.
I am sitting.
Sit better.
Elias decided he liked her about as much as Dorothy Bell, which meant he trusted her immediately and wanted to avoid being treated by her. Mara lowered Mrs. Alvarez into a recliner. Her flaming hands hovered over the old woman's abdomen. The fire thinned, becoming a veil of light. Mrs. Alvarez inhaled sharply.
It burns. I know, breathe through it. You always say that. It keeps being true.
The flames sank into Mrs. Alvarez's body. She screamed. People flinched. Kay moved forward, but Dorothy Bell caught her arm.
Wait.
Mara's jaw clenched. The fire around her hands turned white at the edges. Sweat ran down her temple.
Healing effect detected. Pain response elevated. Tissue stabilization in progress.
Elias wished Field Raid had a setting for less. After 10 seconds, the fire vanished. Mrs. Alvarez slumped back, breathing hard. Color had returned to her face. Not much, but enough to matter. Mara staggered. Kay caught her. That happened immediately. Mara did not thank her. She leaned against Kay for half a second, then pushed herself upright.
I need clean water, sugar, and anything with salt.
The leather jacket man muttered from near the supply table.
We all need water.
Mara turned her head. The flame returned to one hand.
Did I ask you for all of it?
He shut up. Helena gestured to the supply table.
One ration, same as everyone. I just walked through 3 floors of dead staff and brought you a living oncology patient. One ration, then we discuss what you saw.
Mara smiled without warmth.
Warden. Initiate. That explains the attitude.
The chapel went very still. Kay closed her eyes.
Mara.
Helena's expression remained calm, which Elias was beginning to understand meant dangerous.
And Ember Medic explains the smoke.
Mara's smile widened by 1 degree. Oh, Elias thought. This could become a problem. He stood. Kay shot him a warning look. He ignored it in the proud tradition of men with poor survival instincts.
We need floor information.
Both women looked at him. Not happily.
Level 6 held because the chapel became a safe zone. We know Level 2 had echolures. Basement had shamblers and thin-ceiling creatures. Mara came from Oncology. That gives us a route map, threat types, and maybe supplies.
Helena looked at Mara.
You came from Oncology. Palliative corridor, Oncology infusion, East Service Hall, then up through the staff stairwell. Stairwell was opened. Barely.
Field Raid sharpened the room. Attention shifted. Conflict redirected. Not solved. Deferred. Elias almost smiled at the irony. Helena nodded once.
Report.
Mara crossed her arms. The fire around her hand faded to embers.
Level 5 is partially safe. Not recognized, but daylight cleared most of it. There are survivors in maternity behind a locked ward door. They would not open for me. How many? At least 8, maybe more. 1 newborn I heard crying.
A murmur moved through the chapel.
Level 4 is bad. Surgical recovery. Something nested in the ceiling vents. It mimics monitor beeps. If you follow the sound, it drops behind you.
Threat type.
Mara glanced at him.
It's ugly.
System name.
I was busy not being eaten.
Fair.
Level 3 has survivors in imaging. They barricaded with MRI tables. One of them has a gravity skill, I think. Or magnets. Something threw a corpse into a wall without touching it.
Helena's focus sharpened.
Hostile. Afraid. Same thing sometimes. No, it is not.
That landed in the room. Helena accepted it with a small incline of her head.
Level 2.
Mara's face changed.
Voices.
No one asked her to explain.
Basement. I did not go downs.
Good.
Mara looked at him.
Was that approval?
Trauma recognition.
Keep it.
Kay rubbed her forehead.
This is going beautifully.
The system chimed.
Daytime objective generated. Secure additional resources before sunset. Recommended objectives. 1. Reinforce safe zone integrity. 2. Establish survivor census. 3. Retrieve medical supplies from Oncology infusion. 4. Contact nearby safe zones. 5. Investigate maternity ward survivors.
The same notice appeared for everyone. Elias could tell by the simultaneous groan.
The trial gives errands.
Quests. Do not call them quests. They are absolutely quests.
Elias looked at the list. Medical supplies. Maternity survivors. Contact nearby safe zones. 13 hours until sunset, minus planning, movement, panic, mistakes, and whatever the hospital had become in the spaces daylight did not reach. Not enough time. It was never enough time. His new store action slot sat empty at the edge of his vision. One action held for up to 60 seconds. A place to put the future. He needed to test it before a monster explained the rules more violently.
I need a safe room.
Kay stared at him.
For rest.
For testing.
Of course.
Mara looked between them.
Testing what? His terrible skill.
Delay.
Terrible skill was clearer.
Helena crossed her arms.
Explain.
Elias demonstrated with the gauze roll again. He threw it. It did not leave his hand. He held up his other hand.
10 seconds.
The room watched. At 7 seconds, Mara's eyebrows lifted. At 10, the gauze launched across the chapel and hit Tyler in the chest. Tyler looked down.
Why me? Sorry. That keeps happening around you. Also sorry.
Mara pointed at him.
Every actions.
Direct physical actions. Speech is immediate. Catching seems immediate. Throwing, pressing, pulling, hitting, opening doors all delayed.
Healings.
Haven't tried.
Kay's expression said he would not be trying it on her. Elias continued.
At dawn I evolved it. I can store one delayed action now instead of releasing it automatically.
Helena's posture shifted. Mara's irritation cooled into interest. Kay looked worried, which was fair because she had pattern recognition.
Stored for how long?
Up to 60 seconds.
Release condition.
Manual, I think.
You think?
The system does not include a tutorial.
Priya raised a hand from the barricade.
Mine kind of did.
Nobody likes you right now.
Priya lowered her hand. Mara walked to the supply table, picked up an empty plastic bottle and tossed it to Elias. He caught it. Immediate.
Store a throw.
Elias looked at Helena. Helena nodded toward an empty corner away from people.
There.
He faced the corner, gripped the bottle and threw. Nothing happened. The 10-mark ring lit at the edge of his vision. This time, instead of counting down automatically, the new slot opened beneath it.
Store action available.
He selected it by instinct rather than thought. The ring collapsed into the slot.
Stored action throw bottle. Release window 60 seconds.
The bottle remained in his hand. The action did not. That distinction made his skin prickle.
It is stored.
Mara moved closer.
Can you put the bottle down?
I do not know.
Try.
Elias set the bottle on the floor. It left his hand immediately. Maybe because he was not using force. Maybe because the action was not the stored throw. The system did not object. The slot remained.
Stored action throw bottle.
Kay took 2 steps back.
I hate that.
Same.
Mara crouched beside the bottle, careful not to touch it.
If the action is stored, what is throwing? Your hand. It's the bottle. The idea of the bottles.
I was hoping you knew.
I set people on fire to heal them. Do I seem like the rule department?
A little.
Wrong department.
Helena pointed toward the empty corner.
Release it.
Elias focused on the stored slot.
Release.
The bottle shot from the floor. Not from his hand. From where he had placed it. It flew with the exact force and angle he had given the original throw, bounced off the corner wall and skittered across the tile. The chapel was silent. Then Priya said,
That is extremely unfair.
Elias stared at the bottle. His pulse quickened. He could store an action. He could move the object. He could release the action from the object's new position. No. Careful. One test did not prove all cases, but it proved enough to make the future larger and more dangerous. Field Reed added a quiet note.
Deferred marker synergy expanded.
Mara stood slowly.
With preparation, you can turn anything into a delayed trap.
Maybe.
With practice, you can deliver force without standing near the thing you hit.
Maybe.
With stupidity, you can kill all of us by accident.
That one feels confirmed.
Kay picked up the bottle and put it on the supply table like it might misbehave. Helena looked at Elias for a long moment.
You are on the medical retrieval team. No,
Why?
absolutely not.
All 3 spoke at once. Helena ignored 2 of them and answered one.
Because Oncology has locked cabinets, blocked doors, and unknown threats. Mara knows the route. Kay knows supplies. I need a tactician who can prepare exits before the team reaches them. He was shot last night.
Grazed.
Do not help her.
Mara folded her arms.
I can retrieve my own supplies. You arrived on the edge of collapse. You used your skill on Mrs. Alvarez and nearly dropped. You need support.
The flames around Mara's fingers sparked.
Careful.
Helena did not blink.
No.
Elias stood between the 2 women without fully planning to. His survival instincts really were ornamental.
We need the supplies. We need Mara functionals. Kay can identify what matters. I can map timings. We take 1 porter or strong class for carrying. We avoid level 4. We go down East Service stairs to 5, cross to Oncology, retrieve, return.
Field Raid painted the route in his mind.
East stairwell, unknown but recently traversed. Level 5, partial daylight, moderate risk. Oncology infusion, high resource value. Return load, slower movement. Sunset deadline, severe.
And maternity.
Kay asked it quietly. The newborn's cry seemed to echo in the space after the word. Mara looked away first. Helena's mouth tightened.
One team at a time. They may not have one team worth of times.
No one answered. That was the shape of the day. Too many doors. Too few hands. A countdown pretending to be generous because it used hours instead of seconds. Elias opened his status and allocated his 3 points.
Mind increased to 10. Sense increased to 9. Will increase to 8.
The changes settled into him like a cup of bitter coffee. He did not feel stronger. He felt slightly less likely to miss the obvious before it killed him. Progress.
We do the medical run first. Vast. Then maternity.
Mara looked at him sharply.
You do not give orders here.
No, I count seconds. We have about 13 hours. A medical run gives us supplies, more treatment capacity, and information about the route. Maternity is a rescue with unknown survivors, unknown threats, and at least one infant. If we go there without supplies and a return plan, we turn one problem into 3.
Mara hated that. He could tell because she did not argue immediately. Helena nodded.
Agreed. I also hate that it makes sense.
That keeps happening around me.
Do not get proud.
The team formed in 12 minutes. Mara Vale, Ember Medic, Root Knowledge and Healing. K Hart Medic, Supply Identification and Triage. Elias Venn, Tactician, Timing Support and Questionable Judgment. Owen Price, who turned out to have chosen Porter as a class. Not metaphorically.
Class Porter. Feature burden balance.
He could carry far more than his frame suggested, as long as the load was organized and secured. The system had looked at a janitor who knew every service corridor in the hospital and made him an apocalypse logistics specialist. Owen seemed embarrassed. Elias thought it might be one of the most useful classes in the building. Before they left, Helena handed Elias a radio.
Internal channel 3 still works between short ranges. Mostly.
Mostly is doing a lot.
Everything is.
She handed Mara a second radio. The 2 women exchanged a look that did not improve the temperature of the corridor.
You see a breach forming, you retreat.
Mara clipped the radio to her scrub pocket.
I know how doors work.
Elias coughed. Kay did not quite hide her smile. Mara looked at him.
What?
Nothing.
Do you not know how doors work?
I have a complicated relationship with doors.
That is the worst sentence I have heard all morning.
The morning is young.
They reached the chapel threshold. Beyond it, level 6 stretched bright and quiet. Too quiet. But daylight quiet was different from night quiet. Less hungry. More watchful. Elias stopped before stepping out. He picked up a loose metal food tray from the supply table.
Testing.
Insurance.
He faced the corridor and made a hard throwing motion toward the far wall. Nothing happened. The 10-mark ring lit. He stored the action.
Stored action, throw metal tray.
Then he placed the tray gently against the inside wall beside the chapel door, angled toward the corridor. Mara watched with open interest now.
You just loaded the room.
I think so.
With a tray.
It was available.
Kay looked at the tray, then at Elias.
Please label that in your head as not toward friends.
Elias tagged it.
Stored action, throw metal tray, corridor warning shot.
The label settled into the slot. Good. He could do this. Probably. Helena opened the chapel doors. The medical retrieval team stepped into the hospital. Sunlight lay across the corridor in long, pale rectangles. Somewhere far below, something knocked 3 times against metal. Nobody spoke. The day had begun. That did not mean the hospital was done hunting.